friends, Amanda here. Thanks for joining me for today's mandatory activity. We're going to be making these guys, little Earth Day bath bombs. Let me hold it up so you can see nice and close. So super cute, not too hard. So I made these using a recipe from Holly at Missouri River Soap. I really like her recipe for round bombs versus ones that you hand pack. So I'm going to walk you through her recipe, the ingredients that we use, the order in which I add them. And I used a hand mold to make this. It is dirty because I just finished making these. But just a little 3-piece hand mold from Catamolds, so not a fancy machine, not a fancy pressing machine, just a $20 bath bomb mold, so anybody can do it. It's a user-friendly recipe. It works well. I found it to be fairly idiot-proof, and I struggled with bath bombs for a long time, and this recipe works well for me almost all of the time. So easy recipe, easy process, really cool bath bomb results, and a hand press. So I'm going to show you how to make these, and then stay tuned to the end of the video and we'll do a little test in the water and see what happens, because there's a surprise inside of the planet. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to put my gloves on first. I have off to the side here some embed powder. It's like a dark burgundy. It's very, very pretty in the water. And I want to put this in the middle of our planets, so it'll be like lava in the center of the world.
Liquid hot magma.
All right. The recipe I'm using today is not my own. It is from Holly at Missouri River Soaps. She posted it on one of her bath bomb tutorials. It is one of my favorites. I use a couple of them, but this one I think makes really smooth, round bombs. Like some are better for packing hand molds, like flat hand molds, and hers I like the way that they come out. They stay together really well. I've had a lot of good luck with them for round bath bombs. So with that disclosure out of the way, we're going to start with 1,000 grams of baking soda. I have just sanitized everything, wiped my table down with 99% rubbing alcohol, and cleaned off my scale because I just made candles and I am a messy candler. So you're not going to be able to see my scale because it's back here, so I'll just sort of tell you everything as we go through it. I'm setting the unit measurement to grams, and I'm going to tare it out. We're going to start with 1,000 grams of baking soda. So my baking soda I have in these giant 15 pounds? Yes, 15-pound resealable bags. These we get from Sam's Club, and they're like $7. So this is the best deal I have found on baking soda yet. I used to get them from Wholesale Supplies Plus and a bunch of other online retailers, and I don't know why I did that. I think I just thought that the savings would be there because of the bulk, and it's just not with the shipping. So if you have a Sam's Club near you and access to a membership, this is hands down the cheapest way to get your hands on a giant quantity of baking soda. 80, 96, there we go. All right, you will notice I am not sifting my baking soda. And if you have seen any of my other bath bomb making videos, I'm not a sifter. I don't have any problem going through here with my hands. And like, I kind of enjoy rubbing it through my fingers. And I'm sorry to say the same thing every time I make a bath bomb video, but that's just the way that it works for me. This is part of what I like about making bath bombs. There are a lot of parts about making bath bombs that are frustrating. They don't particularly enjoy it all the time, but this is one of the parts I like. I like getting in here and rubbing it between my fingers. So I don't sift. I do it by hand. If I'm in a hurry, I might, use my mixer. And just let like the whisk attachment do it for me, but I find that I can feel it better with my hands. I can feel like all the little tiny lumps. And if you just, you don't have to like break it up with your fingers, you can just rub it through your palms and they'll disintegrate. I also think that's nice if you're just a, you know, a hobby bath bomb maker. And you don't have a dedicated mixer for bath and body products, then this, you know, you should know that this works. All right, that feels pretty good. I am going to add in 25 grams of buttermilk powder. And this is my buttermilk powder here, Hoosier Hill Farm. This container, it's 2 pounds. I get it from Amazon. Again, this is the best place I have found to buy it. I know that's a little surprising, but that once you factor in shipping was the case for me. Once I had prime shipping on 2 pounds of buttermilk powder, it was cheaper from Amazon. So, all right, that's 25 grams. And we're going to use 50 grams of SLSA, sodium lauryl sulfoacetate. It is optional. If you don't want to use it, put in 50 grams more of baking soda. Your SLSA, if you have it, just is a bubbling agent. You probably know that if you have SLSA already. But that's what it does. It just makes your bath bombs like extra foamy. It is a gentle surfactant. So it's not, you know, harsh on your skin, but your bath bomb will fizz without SLSA. So optional. If you don't want it, put in 50 more grams of baking soda and Bob's your uncle. If you do use SLSA, recommend wearing a mask. Everyone's got one or two or 40. Okay, I am masked up with my SLSA. So I used to buy my SLSA in these giant 6-pound containers from Amazon, but they are actually, it's a little bit cheaper in the 5-pound container from makeyourown.buzz. They have really good shipping rates. So when I'm buying something else from them, I always kind of throw in a bag of this or a bag of that or something that, you know, has some significant weight to it. I'm going to tear this out, and 50 grams. And this is going to go airborne, which is why you're wearing your mask. So I like to try to, almost got it on the nose, that's 46. There you go. And I like to cover it up with some of those heavier ingredients so that it doesn't have more time to poof itself up in the air. Alrighty. Now we're going to mix together our wet ingredients. I like to do it in a separate container. I'm going to use this beaker. And we're going to, I guess I can take off my mask for now so you can hear me a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to start with 10 grams of any lightweight carrier oil, apricot seed, fractionated coconut, meadowfoam seed oil, sweet almond would work. Anything that is lightweight and, you know, super fluid. I'm going to go with rice bran oil today. Get this one from Wholesale Supplies Plus. Whipped off the scale and I teared it out by accident. Okay. Next, we're going to put in 8 grams of polysorbate 80. Now this one I would not skip because if you are putting colorants in your tub, you really want a polysorbate 80 in there to help disperse your pigment throughout your bath water and to help prevent the ring around the tub situation. Again, I get mine from makeyourown.buzz. I'm not affiliated with them, but they do have a lot of great stuff in good quantities at good prices with decent shipping. So here we go. 8 is going to be very little because this is heavy. Oh, I got 10. So a little extra poly 80, but that's okay. We're going to have very colorful bath bombs anyway. So today I'm going to use this. It's a natural fragrance oil. So not a synthetic. It's not an essential oil, but it is a natural oil and not a synthetic oil. So lemongrass and nashi pear, these are a little bit pricier, but I like them for bath bombs because you get a lot of bang for your buck anyway because you're not using a ton of fragrance. And I don't have to worry about it, you know, cooking off in cold process soap or anything like that. So I'm going to take my skewer here again and just run the fragrance down the shaft of this stick. Till I get to 24 grams. Oh, it smells divine. It's like crisp and sweet at the same time. It's really nice. All right, there's 24 grams. Okay, mix this up. There's no water in here, so it should want to mix pretty well. Okay, and now I'm going to add the water into these powders first. So we're going to put in here 1 tablespoon of distilled water and 1 tablespoon of rubbing alcohol. I have only a half tablespoon because at some point I stole my tablespoon from myself and I never put it back. So I have no idea where it is. So we will do 2 half tablespoons. There's no citric acid in here yet, so we're not worried about kicking off a fizzing reaction. This is still just the baking soda, the buttermilk powder, and the SLSA. And nothing special about distilled water, rubbing alcohol. Get them from your store. I like to use the highest percentage of rubbing alcohol I can find. This is 99.5. You should be able to get 99, 91, or 70 will be the most common varieties you can find at CVS or grocery store. All right, so now that this is in here, I'm just gonna mix it up again with my hands. This is another reason I think sifting is kind of silly, because you put your wet ingredients in there and they clump up anyway, so you already have to get in there and break them up. And you want your mask back on until these products get really, really moist. You still have that SLSA to contend with. All right, so that's sort of loosely mixed. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add in all the oils, poly 80 fragrance, all that jazz. And I will fast forward this for you guys. Be back in just a minute. Okay, this feels pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and tear out the scale again. And we need 500 ounces of citric acid. And my citric acid I get from Wholesale Supplies Plus because it does appear to be in the best price, including shipping from them, if you go for 25 pounds at a time. So if you have the need or the storage for 25 pounds of citric acid at a time, their pricing is pretty good on this one. You can see some clumps here, so I'll definitely have some massaging to do. Okay, that's 502. And that's the last of our ingredients other than colorant. So I'm gonna get this mixed up really well. I'm gonna do a lot of rubbing between my hands until this feels combined. So then we'll test the consistency of our bombs before we do any coloring or pressing. Make sure we've got enough moisture. Humidity here in the workshop is at 35%. So ideally, it sounds like 40% is where people typically like to bath bomb. I usually find that's a little bit too humid for me. So I'm hoping 35 is better. I don't feel any kind of like, fizzing or eruption or anything under my hands. So while I'm doing this, I'm just going to talk to you guys about the embed powder. I can take my mask off too because I'm nice and moist. My ingredients are moist. The embed powder there, people talk about embeds being really difficult, and I 100% agree. I don't have the best luck making bath bomb embeds that stay together. But embed powder could not be easier because it's really primarily 50-50 baking soda and citric acid. And so it kind of fizzes a little bit extra. Sometimes it'll make your bath bomb sort of shoot a little bit or spin a little bit in the tub. Either way, it's kind of fun to have the surprise color inside that's, somewhat dramatically different from the rest of your bomb. So that is how I did there. I really just made a 50-50 solution, a little bit of water, and a little bit of colorant. And then I let it dry. And then once it was completely dry, I stuck it in a bag. And I made a couple colors at once. And so I'm kind of grab them as I need them when I want to jazz up a bomb. All right, so this feels good. It looks good. I don't feel any nubbins in here. It all feels the same weight. It's all a little bit cold. I feel like everybody is moist. All right, so here is our test. I like to do, and I don't know why I always do 2 at once, but that's the way I do it. Take a handful, squeeze it as hard as you can, open it up. It looks pretty decent. Drop it. Also looks decent. If this had broken, I would wet it a little bit. And we will, check it throughout the process. If it needs wetting as we're going, further into our bomb making, we can always come back to it. All right. All right, the mold we're going to be using today, I'm going to use a hand mold. I have an electropress machine, which I really like, but I wanted to do this tutorial so that you can kind of do it at home if you don't have, fancy equipment. If you do and you want a tutorial with the fancy equipment, I will be more than happy to do it again. So with that instead of this. But I do use these, especially for smaller batches. It's pretty easy. This is a Kata mold, or Kata, I think it's Kata, but someone's last name, so pronounce it any way you like. I will link it for you. I think they still have an Etsy shop, but they may have grown out of it into their own website. I can't remember. But these are about 20 bucks for these hand presses. And we're going to be using these little round bath bomb molds, plastic molds. We do this to store the bath bombs in to keep them round on the bottom so they don't get flat while they're drying. And I don't have any kind of like fancy bath bomb drying rack. I save the fast food drink holders, and when the bath bombs are done, they're sitting in here, they go right like that, and they're just like completely sitting perfectly on the cups. And I find this to be like a super easy, and these stack obviously really well. So I just keep these as I receive them from real life and reuse them here. All right, so I'm gonna get some smaller bowls. Okay, so we'll keep this one for our blue. We know our planet is mostly water, so we'll have more blue than anything. I want like a little bit of white just set aside so that I have some for like clouds, but not very much. I didn't need too much. I'll just leave it there. Trying to stay in frame. All right, and we're gonna want some green. Gonna want some continents. So that looks pretty good. I'm not measuring. I'm really just sort of winging it. Nor am I going to make the continents look, like the actual continents. They're just going to be land masses. All right, let's go with that. And let's go get some colorants for our green and our blue. Okay, as I speed this up, I'm gonna be adding my mica powders to my different bowls of bath bomb mix here. I'm gonna be using one blue and one green. But I wanted to just talk a minute about colorants for bath bombs, because blues and greens can be really, really tricky. And there are a lot of mica powders that are not bath bomb safe or not considered bath bomb safe. And what you need to do is check the individual manufacturer for your micas. Some of them will say, like Nurture Soap, for example, is pretty good about saying on each mica whether it's bath bomb safe or not. And, Brambleberry also has a number of them that on their website say are bath bomb safe. So I'm going to show you really quickly just how to check here. This is the Brambleberry website, brambleberry.com. If you go to Shop by Product, you go to Colorants, and they'll have all their different colorants listed here and the menu on the left. And we're going to look at micas. And so we can kind of just check some of the blues and greens. Mermaid Blue Mica here. If you scroll down to product details rather, it says recommended for bath bombs, yes. So, you know, they'll have a recommendation. Each manufacturer should have a recommendation. Kermit Green Mica, I know, is also okay. That is here, recommended for bath bombs, yes. I'm also going to link an article for you from Nurture Soap in the description box that explains a little bit about colorants for bath bombs and why some things are not considered safe, because bath bombs are considered cosmetics. Most people will use lakes and dyes for coloring their bathrooms, but I think micas are more user-friendly because you don't have to bloom them first. You can just kind of get the dry powder into your mixture and do what I'm doing here and mix it in really well. I'm going to link for you also in the description box some of the blue and green micas that the manufacturer says is okay to use. And hopefully that helps get you in the right spot. So all I'm going to really do here, I'm going to add my Skin Safe Blue mica and a Skin Safe Green mica. So please go ahead and check the description box when you're done for some links to a couple of different blues and a couple of different greens that should work for this application. Get that colorant incorporated. All right, that looks beautiful. What a pretty blue. Okay, get rid of the scale. Switch places for the green. And not dump the bowl off the edge of the table. Okay, and I'm just gonna test and see if the mixture's still good. Still good. Check the blue. Still good. Okay, we're in good shape. Okie dokie, here's the fun part. Try to get everything in frame so you can see it. How will I do that? Perhaps a smaller bowl would have been smarter. So I'll probably have to set the finished bombs off to the side so you won't be able to see them. All right, we're going to take the sleeve of this mold and drop half of it into the bottom. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the blue and kind of put it in here on an angle. I'm going to grab a little green, make a continent there, put water on the other side of it, make a continent here, put water on the other side of it. You can add in some clouds. And then we get to the top-ish, add another little bit here and here, more water, more land, a little more cloud cover, and, oops. So the idea here is to keep these kind of loosely packed. So if I know now that this is sort of already loosely packed, this is a better place for me to stick my land and my clouds. And now just take the top, put it on top here, squeeze it together. And the best way to do it is to actually lean on it with everything you got. And I like to do it on one side, and then I like to flip it over and do it on the other one. And then slide the sleeve off. You're going to want a spoon or a fork, which I neglected to get in advance. And take your finger and wipe that off. If you want a bigger Saturn ring, which is that thing in the center, you can overfill it a little, like mound it a little. And that will give you that Saturn ring effect. So I'm turning it with my fingers here, tapping it as I go, popping the top off. She looks pretty already. And then I just take one of the plastic guys we talked about, put it on the top, flip it over. I like to center it. Tap gently all the way around. Voila. Look at the clouds, they're so cute. So then we'll just take the finished bomb, set it in here. It's a little bit thin at the bottom here, so I think I probably could have used a little bit more filling. So I think this one may end up coming home in my tub, but that'll be our tester bomb, and we'll try another one with a little bit more in it. Same process. water, land, water, land, water, water, land, land. Probably still need more, don't I? And land, clouds. Okay, so let's see how we do here. A little bit more filling. This should get a better compression too. There's more in the mold. Okay. Flipped it over, doing it again. There we go. Oh, I forgot our lava.
Liquid hot magma.
All that talk about embeds, and then I didn't use them. All right, so this will be our second second tester. And then we'll put the embed powder in the next one. We'll see how we did with our sizing. That one's not coming loose quite as easily. So give it another whack. Okay. I like how abstract the continents look. Super fun. Okay. Nope. Come on, dude. There we go. Okay. So that one looks better to me. Not sort of soft on the top. So we'll set that aside. Let's do number 3. And we'll throw in the embed powder. So we're starting to get a little bit of a mixing of our green and blue here. Totally cool. Don't care. It's just gonna look like a little extra variety in our landscape. Water, land, water, land. Go for a little clouds on the side this time. All right, so now that we're about kind of in the middle, I'm just gonna stick my finger in there. And I'm gonna open my bag of embed powder here. I'm just gonna take like a sprinkling of it and drop it in the center, just like that. So when the bomb explodes in the water, that'll be the middle. Kind of put as much in as you like, really. That's nice and dry. All right. More land, a little more land, a little more cloud cover, and we're good. This one feels like probably could use a little more filling. I can feel it as soon as I start to squeeze it together. If it's not sticking up out of the sleeve, I know it could be compressed a little bit more. So it could have been a little fuller, but give it a little extra love. All right. All right, there's half of it. Looks pretty good. See your little side clouds peeking through. That's fun. And of course, you won't see that embed powder till it creeps out into your tub. Voila. That is pretty. I am happy. All right, so I'll speed this up for you guys, and then we'll come back and give them a try in the water. See what we get. I will leave these overnight to dry. And then what I do in the morning, I come back and I grab them and I take another sphere, put it on top, and I just flip it over so that this side gets to dry. So sometimes that means it's a 2-day drying process, which is no big deal. But that is how I handle that. And then I'll show you once they're dry, you know, what they look like finished, when we can hold it and sort of, you know, rotate it in our hands and give it a good look-see. And then we'll drop it in probably this giant bowl of water and take a look at how she performs. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Let's give this a test in our simulated bathtub here, and we'll listen to some peaceful music. Ready? Here we go. Happy Earth Day. Maybe just about done here. Yep. So not a super dramatic explosion of magma, but we could always next time add a little bit more of the embed powder if you want sort of a larger effect. We just put like a little sprinkling in the middle, but it's pretty. Just enough to be a surprise. All right. I love how pretty the bowl is. Obviously in your tub there's more surface area and it would be, you know, spread out, but that's pretty. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you next time.